They told Ryan and Melissa to get rid of him. 155-pound Cane Corso, 3 kids under 5. Are you insane? Every neighbor, every stranger at the park, even family members pulled them aside and said it quietly, like a warning. That dog is going to hurt one of your children. They didn't listen. And at 2 a.m. last October, when a crawling baby somehow escaped his playpen and stopped inches from the top of the stairs, they finally understood why. Atlas was already there. They called him a monster. A 155-pound Cane Corso with a jaw that could crush bone, eyes darker than midnight, and a presence so overwhelming that grown men crossed the street to avoid him. Neighbors whispered, strangers stared, and more than one person told Ryan and Melissa straight to their faces, that dog has no business being around children. They had 3 of them. Lily, 5 years old, fearless and loud. Sophie, 3, soft-spoken and always watching. And baby Noah, barely 8 months, who didn't know what fear was yet. And then there was Atlas. Ryan had wanted a Cane Corso for years, not because he wanted to scare anyone, not because he needed to prove something. He wanted one because he'd grown up reading about the breed, ancient Roman war dogs, bred not to attack, but to guard, to stand between the people they loved and everything that threatened them. Melissa wasn't so sure. 3 kids, Ryan, 3. Exactly, he said. 3 reasons to get him. Atlas came into their lives on a cold January morning, 8 weeks old, and already the size of a small boulder. He was all paws and wrinkles and deep, serious eyes that seemed far too old for a puppy. Lily immediately climbed onto his back. Sophie offered him her half-eaten cracker. Noah, in his bouncy seat, stared at the enormous black creature and let out a single delighted shriek. Atlas looked at all 3 of them. And something shifted. Not aggression, not dominance, something quieter than that. Something that looked, if you watched closely enough, almost like recognition. Like he already knew exactly who these 3 small humans were, and exactly what his job would be. It started within the first week. Every night, without fail, before Atlas would settle into his bed, he'd make rounds. Lily's room first. He'd push the door open with his massive head, stand in the doorway for a moment and listen. Then Sophie's room, the same slow, deliberate check. Then the nursery, where Noah slept in the soft blue glow of a nightlight. Atlas would stand at the crib perfectly still for almost a full minute, just watching, just listening. Only then would he walk back down the hall and lie down. Ryan caught him doing it on the 3rd night. He stood in the dark hallway, watching this 155-pound animal move through their home like a silent sentinel, and he didn't say a word. He just watched. The next morning, he told Melissa. She cried. "I see you still haven't subscribed. That breaks my heart almost as much as this story does. Hit subscribe. You won't regret it." Lily discovered first that Atlas had a soft spot for her voice. She would sit cross-legged on the kitchen floor, holding her stuffed rabbit, and just talk to him about her day, about the kids at school, about why she thought clouds looked like mashed potatoes. Atlas would lie with his enormous head in her lap, eyes half closed, completely still, except for the slow, steady rise and fall of his chest. If Lily stopped talking, he'd nudge her hand with his nose. Keep going. Sophie's relationship with him was different, quieter. She would simply appear wherever Atlas was and sit down next to him. No words, no games, just presence. And Atlas accepted it completely, this tiny, silent girl who seemed to understand that some things didn't need to be said out loud. There's something about watching a 155-pound animal be gentle, not trained gentle, not forced gentle, genuinely, instinctively gentle. The way he turned his head slowly when Noah reached for his ear, the way he never once stood up abruptly when a child was near him, the way he seemed to know at every moment exactly how much space he was allowed to take up. Stories like this don't happen by accident. They happen because an animal, somewhere deep in whatever ancient instinct lives inside them, chooses a family and holds on. It was a Tuesday afternoon in October when Melissa understood it completely. She had stepped outside for less than 3 minutes just to bring in groceries from the car. Noah was in his playpen, Lily and Sophie were watching cartoons, Atlas was, as far as she knew, sleeping in the corner. When she came back inside, the playpen was empty. Her heart stopped. She found them in the hallway. Noah had somehow climbed out at 8 months old in a way that defied all logic and physics and was sitting on the floor, laughing. Atlas was lying directly in front of him, completely blocking the top of the stairs, an enormous living wall between her baby and a 10-foot drop. He hadn't barked, he hadn't panicked, he had simply positioned himself, the way a guardian does, without instruction, without praise, without anyone asking. Melissa sat down on the floor right there in the hallway, Noah in her arms, and pressed her face into Atlas's neck. "Good boy," she whispered. Good boy." He wagged his tail exactly once. The neighbors still look twice when Atlas walks out the front door. He's hard to miss, 155 pounds of black muscle moving slowly and deliberately beside a 5-year-old girl who holds his leash like it's the most natural thing in the world. Beside them, Sophie skips, and Ryan carries Noah on his shoulders, the baby reaching down toward Atlas with both hands, always reaching. People see the dog and they tense up. Then they see the kids, and they understand. Atlas was never a monster. He was never dangerous, never a risk, never something to fear. He was just misread, the way powerful things often are, by people who never took the time to look past the size, past the jaw, past the dark eyes that miss nothing. Those same eyes that check 3 bedrooms every single night before he'll allow himself to rest. Because being a guardian isn't about aggression. It never was. It's about showing up, quietly, consistently, completely for the ones who need you most. Ryan and Melissa didn't just bring home a dog. They brought home the 5th member of their family. And Atlas? He'd known that from the very first morning when 3 small faces looked at him and he looked back. Job understood. Is this instinct or is this love? Because after watching Atlas, I'm not sure there's a difference. Tell me what you think in the comments.